Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. Come on. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Hello sports fans, welcome to the Nach on Sports. I'm your host, Nach. First on the show today, we have Cody Nevels. He's talking to me about the Warriors baseball team. They've struggled early on in the season. They didn't have a great trip to Florida during their spring break trip. They're looking forward to finishing the season strong in 2012. Then I have my sports panel where I'm joined by Jordan Hillesheim and Kyle Tolbert. Then, for the first time on the Nach on Sports, we're doing a first full round NFL mock draft. I got a big show for you today. I hope you enjoy. Now let's go to my interview with Cody Nevels, a sophomore center fielder for the Warriors baseball team. Cody, you're having a real successful offensive season. Can you just tell me about some of your personal success?
Yeah, well, this year I came into with a goal to stay back and drive the ball this year, and I've done that pretty well. I'm looking for fastballs more, but I've been able to adjust to off-speed stuff a lot better than I have last year. The year of maturity really has helped me this year. Just playing-wise, I felt like at the plate I'm a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable up there. I don't feel overmatched at all, and I feel like I'm having a pretty good year.
Can you tell us about some of the stuff that goes on the defensive side? You have a lot of area to cover considering you're a center fielder.
Well, I've always been able to get a pretty good jump, I've thought, and this year I felt center field has always been my natural spot, and I've had a pretty good, successful year this year, been able to cover a lot of ground. Our outfield's done pretty well overall. Connor in left and right has done a great job. T-Shane, when he doesn't catch in left, has done a great job as well. And Matt Gowan coming in has done a good job off the bench, giving us that good spark we need. Broughton's arm is hurting him, so he hadn't been able to play lately, but he's had a good year when he has been able to play.
So can you tell us, you guys have had some early season losses. You guys haven't started off the season the way you'd like to. You guys have rattled off a couple wins of late. What can you attribute to some of the early season problems that you guys had?
Well, when you only return 11 guys and 5 of them being pitchers, you're going to have that youngness factor falls in a lot. It's just we made some errors, mental errors, physical errors, and it's really hurt us this year. We lost a lot of very close games due to errors and mental errors that we've made. Those are probably the two main things, being the youngness factor and the errors that we've made that have really attributed to our losses.
Even though you guys, like you said, are young, are those young players, are you guys seeing improvement with those players and seeing those players step up?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of growth and maturity over this past few weeks during the season. Third base, Brandon Madsen, shortstop, Sam Mathias really stepped up and played well. And then George Kasey and Corbin Biersack behind the plate have provided very strong defensively, and their bats have started to get hot as of late. As I said earlier, Connor Braderbelt and Matt Gowan played a good outfield for us, being at the freshman spot. And Jamie Palman has really anchored our staff this year. He's been the most consistent lately, and he's really done a good job on the mound.
Well, Cody, I want to thank you for your time, and I appreciate you taking some time out of your day talking about the Warriors baseball season. We wish you guys luck as you guys get ready to take on some of your tougher opponents in the NAC.
Thank you.
I want to thank Cody Nevels for joining me for the interview. We hope that the Warriors baseball season finishes strong and they make it to the NAC tournament. Now let's turn our attention to the NFL draft, where I'm joined by my sports panel. Kyle Tolbert and Jordan Hillesheim are here to talk to me about whether the Colts made the right decision taking Andrew Luck. Guys, the Colts made Andrew Luck the #1 overall pick last week, saying they're going to take him #1 overall. Do you think that was a mistake, and if they should have considered RG3?
No mistake has been made. Luck is the guy to go with the system. RG3 will fit Washington's system. It's just how it's going to be. I see them both having promising futures in the NFL. That's how it's going to be.
I'd have to agree. Luck's the guy for that system. RG3, he's the guy for the Redskins system. I think both of them are getting the pick that they want and the quarterback that they want in that position. I gotta agree with my boy Kyle over here.
Well, guys, I agree too. I think Luck fits for the Colts. They're looking for a replacement Peyton Manning. Andrew Luck is not Peyton Manning. I don't think you can really make the comparison. I don't think it's fair to Luck, and I don't think it's fair for Peyton Manning. But they need a big body quarterback, and that's what Andrew Luck provides for the Colts. Now, I was a little bit surprised that Reggie Wayne stayed with the Colts, but Andrew Luck is not going into a bad situation, I think. He's got Reggie Wayne on the outside. They're going to draft some new offensive weapons for him. I think he's going to be just fine, and Reggie Wayne is going to help him a lot, especially on offense for the Colts.
Well, Luck will help him too. Give
Absolutely.
him a little bit better of a season.
Absolutely. And I think RG3 is going to provide an instant spark for Shanahan. I don't see Shanahan really staying that much longer in Washington, but I say both teams are getting what they want. I think they're both going to be happy. I think we're going to talk about Andrew Luck and we're going to talk about RG3 for 10 years to come. All right, we're going to move on to the next pick. Number 3 to the Minnesota Vikings. These guys are the wild card. Everyone has got Khalil locked into this position at number 3, but the Vikings have said they're not going to take him. What do you guys think? What do you think the trickle-down effect is if the Vikings do or don't take Khalil at number 3?
It's a smart pick. They're going to pick Khalil at number 3. I can't see them picking anything else other than maybe Morris Claiborne, but, football, it's a game in the trenches. The games always start in the trenches, okay? And Khalil's their guy. He's going to be their left tackle for years to come. He's going to play for them, and just passing, rushing, everything. He's going to help out the entire team. I just think there's nothing better than that pick in that spot.
I agree with him. It's easy for an offensive lineman to get into the league, especially being Khalil, being that tall, that powerful, and have that good of feet. But he'll help out right away. Yeah, he'll take his time, but he'll make an impact right away for protection for Christian Ponder.
Well, he's an instant upgrade over what the Vikings had last season in Bryant McKinney. Great feet, like you talked about. Powerful guy, tall guy that definitely can protect Christian Ponder and help in the running game. And we'll see what happens with Adrian Peterson. Obviously, he's recovering from a knee surgery. So, like you guys said, you guys think Khalil's going to be the pick. I agree. I think he's going to be the pick at number 3. 4 is Trent Richardson. I think we're all pretty consensus about Trent Richardson being the number 4 pick. I don't think Cleveland needs to deviate from that. They need offensive weapons, and they need to stop trading back. They did it when the Jets won Sanchez, and they did it last season when the Falcons won Julio Jones. They got to take a playmaker in the first round. What do you guys think?
I think a lot, Trent Richardson. They could go Blackman, but I think you want to establish a run game right away and take Trent Richardson right off the bat.
I guess I gotta agree with my guy again. I mean, Trent Richardson's the pick. That's the pick right there. I think that's when it's set in stone. I think 1, 2, and 4. I think those picks are set in stone. I think the ones that are gonna mess up the top 5 are probably gonna be 3 and 5. Because if the Vikings don't take Khalil, that's not gonna mess up the 4th pick because they already have Adrian Peterson. They also drafted Toby Gerhart a couple years ago. They're not gonna pick a running back. So I think 4 is set in stone, and the 3 and 5 picks, those are the ones that are probably the wild card at this point.
Well, guys, I think you're absolutely right. I think Richardson is a lock at number 4. And I'll be honest with you, here's something else. Cleveland, every time they make the playoffs, has a running back, or when they have successful seasons. Last time, 2010, a good season, they had Peyton Hillis run the football. Last time they made the playoffs, good running back at the position was gaining a lot of yards. They are based on running the football, no matter what, through their entire franchise history, especially when they're making the playoffs back in the 80s. They had Ernest Biner running the football for them. So I think Trent Richardson is an instant pick. He gets that city really excited about football again, and he's going to be an electrifying player for the Cleveland Browns.
Absolutely.
Claiborne on defense. I think he's an instant upgrade over for Tampa Bay. They need secondary help. They could really use any help, secondary, linebacker, for that matter, on defense. Just defense was porous last year. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts about where Tampa Bay takes Claiborne, and is that a good fit? And let's really look at it. What happens if the Vikings take Claiborne in the 3rd, and what does Tampa Bay do for their draft?
I mean, if the Vikings take Claiborne at 3, the Bucks could trade back and try to go for Luke Kuechly. But if they want to take another offensive lineman in Khalil, because the man's a top 5 pick for sure.
Absolutely.
If they take him, they can move him to right tackle because with the great feet he has, he'll be able to transition over to right tackle with ease.
Yeah, I think, and here's where things get really interesting, I think. Buffalo is looking to draft a tackle. Buffalo has been linked to Riley Reef from Iowa. I think if Minnesota doesn't take Khalil, I see Buffalo calling up Tampa Bay and say, hey, what do you want for number 5? We want Khalil. Because Tampa Bay could draft back, go back a few slots, and they could still pick up Luke Kuechly, very solid linebacker. They need the help, and this draft is a very deep corner draft that you could pick up in second, third round and develop guys into your defense.
I mean, it's a deep draft. I mean, the talent drops off considerably, I think, after Morris Claiborne.
I agree.
I mean, there's another pick in Stephon Gilmore. He could be good, but I just don't think the talent is anywhere near Morris Claiborne's. He's just, I don't know. He's clearly the best. He's the best corner in this draft. And we're another year where quarterback wasn't such a need. I think the guy could be a number 1 overall pick.
Absolutely. And Morris Claiborne, some say he's better than Patrick Peterson. And Patrick Peterson played very well for the Cardinals last season. Claiborne is a day 1 starter. Do you see another corner in the NFL draft being a day 1 starter?
It depends on what the need is for that team at that point in time. But Claiborne is going to be a day 1 starter, and I'm pretty sure, from what it looks like, he'll probably be the only one that'll be a day 1 starter at cornerback.
All right. Well, guys, we're pretty. We've come to an agreement. Khalil goes at number 3 of the Vikings. Trent Richardson goes at number 4 to the Cleveland Browns, and Tampa Bay gets their corner in Morris Claiborne.
Lucky Bucks.
Still got number 28 though.
Kyle, you ready for a full mock draft, 1 through 32?
I'm ready to get it started.
All right. We'll be back with more after this, and we start off with the mock draft, 1 through 32.
Fear of spiders is arachnophobia. Fear of tight spaces is claustrophobia. Fear of Chuck Norris is called logic. Chuck Norris has no shadow. Nothing stupid enough to follow Chuck Norris.
All right, here we are in the war room. Let's meet the members that are going to be helping me pick all 32 NFL franchises. Our first member of the team, Jesse Muldrow, a former running back for Wisconsin Lutheran College. Jesse, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
All right, next member, Kyle Tolbert, right tackle for Wisconsin Lutheran College. How you doing, buddy?
Very well, sir.
Here we are with quarterback Zach Shaw from the Wisconsin Lutheran College Warriors. Zach, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Nach, how are you?
I'm good. And here we have Jason Lauber, a student from Wisconsin Lutheran College. He considers himself a sports enthusiast with a ton of wealth and sports knowledge. Here we have Jack Liegler, another student from WLC who considers himself a very sports knowledgeable fan. All right, and this is the team that's going to be helping me pick the first round of the 2012 NFL mock draft. All right, let's head to that first overall pick. The Indianapolis Colts are on the clock. Jesse is making the pick for the Colts. Jesse, what do you take?
Well, I feel to better our team, we decided to go with quarterback of the future. We're feeling lucky. We want Andrew.
All right, so the Colts take their number 1 man, Andrew Luck. Pick number 2, the Redskins are on the clock. I'm picking for him. RG3 is going number 2 to the Washington Redskins. Picks 1 and 2 were pretty easy to pick for so far, but this is where things get interesting. Number 3 overall, the Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. Let's go to Zach Shaw, who's making the pick.
With the third pick of the 2012 NFL mock draft, the Vikings take Matt Khalil out of USC. Real strong kid. He's got great feet, so I think he's going to be a good lineman in the NFL.
So the Vikings get their left tackle to protect Christian Ponder. They take Matt Khalil from USC. So the Browns are on the clock now. They have a choice. Do they take Trent Richardson or do they take Justin Blackmon? Jason Lauber's got the pick for the Cleveland Browns.
And with the 4th pick, the Browns select running back Trent Richardson out of Alabama. He's an instant upgrade at the running back position.
So the Browns get their running back in Trent Richardson. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are next on the clock, and with their selection, they're going to take cornerback Morris Claiborne from Louisiana State University. It's an instant upgrade for the secondary, and Tampa Bay has to focus on that back 4, especially with Aqib Talib having legal trouble. So the Bucs get their cornerback in Morris Claiborne. The Rams are next on the clock. Let's see who Jack takes for the Rams.
With the 6th overall pick, St. Louis Rams pick Justin Blackmon out of Oklahoma State because it gives Sam Bradford some weapons.
So the Rams get their big play wide receiver in Justin Blackmon. Up next is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jason Lauber has that pick. Let's see who he makes with the selection.
And with the 7th overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select wide receiver Michael Floyd out of Notre Dame. He gives Blaine Gabbert another weapon in the offense.
So the Jaguars get a big offensive playmaker in Michael Floyd. Up next is the Dolphins. There's a lot of question marks with this pick, but Zach Shaw is going to make the selection for the Dolphins.
With the 8th pick in the 2012 draft, the Miami Dolphins take Quentin Coples out of North Carolina. We think this will give us a great edge rush for the next upcoming season.
So the Dolphins get a pass rusher to go alongside Cameron Wake. Up next are the Carolina Panthers, and Jesse Muldrow is going to make that selection.
With the 9th pick in the 2012 NFL mock draft, the Carolina Panthers select Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle out of Mississippi State.
The Panthers take a defensive tackle with the number 9 overall pick. The Buffalo Bills are up next with number 10. Jack, who are you going to take with that number 10 selection?
Buffalo Bills at number 10 are going to take Riley Reif out of Iowa, offensive tackle that will protect their quarterback.
So the Bills take a tackle with their selection. Up next are the Chiefs at number 11. Kyle has the pick. Kyle, who do you think the Chiefs are going to take?
With the 11th pick in the 2012 draft, the Kansas City Chiefs will take Michael Brockers, D-tackle of LSU. The man is a physical freak in the middle and will help out that defensive line.
The Chiefs take another LSU defensive tackle to go along with Glenn Dorsey. Up next are the Seattle Seahawks at number 12. Zach Shaw's making the pick. Zach, who are you going to take?
With the 12th pick in the 2012 mock draft, the Seattle Seahawks are going to take Dre Kirkpatrick out of Alabama, cornerback.
The Seahawks get their cornerback to help out in the secondary. Up next at pick 13 is the Arizona Cardinals. Jason, you have the selection. Who are you going to take?
At 13, we're going to select linebacker Courtney Upshaw out of Alabama. He's a fierce linebacker who's going to help the outside pass rush.
The Arizona Cardinals get their pass rusher to help out on defense. Up next is the Dallas Cowboys with the 14th selection. And with that pick, they're going to take safety Mark Barron from Alabama. He'll be an instant upgrade at the safety position. The Dallas Cowboys get their safety in Mark Barron. Up next is their NFC East rival, Philadelphia Eagles, at pick number 15. Let's go to Zach Shaw with the selection.
With the 15th pick in the 2012 draft, the Eagles will take Dante Hightower, linebacker from Alabama. With that very disappointing last season of the Eagles defense, we think he'll make an instant impact in the linebacking corps.
So the Eagles get their linebacker in Dante Hightower. Up next is the Jets with the 16th selection. Let's go to Jason. He has a possible draft buster.
And with the 16th overall pick, the Jets select running back Lamar Miller out of the U. And he has a great speed to the already talented backfield with Sean Green.
So the Jets take a first-round running back, Lamar Miller, to help replace the loss of LaDainian Tomlinson. Up next at pick number 17 are the Bengals. They have 2 first-rounders. Let's go to Kyle Tolbert, who's picking at number 17.
With the 17th pick in the 2012 draft, the Cincinnati Bengals will take Stephen Gilmore from South Carolina. The man that added a different presence to the cornerback, and he will just be a lockdown corner.
So the Bengals take a cornerback to help Leon Hall. Up next is the San Diego Chargers. Jesse Muldrow has the selection. Jesse, who are you going to take for the San Diego Chargers?
Well, after a disappointing offseason of losing Vincent Jackson, star wide receiver, we're deciding to take Stephen Hill out of Georgia Tech, 6'4", 215-pound receiver, and it's also nice to have a receiver who's coming out of Georgia Tech. Since the last 2 first-rounders were Demetrius Thomas and Calvin Johnson.
So the Chargers take a receiver to hopefully replace Vincent Jackson. The Bears are up next with the 19th selection, and they're going to take offensive tackle from Stanford, Jonathan Martin. He should really shore up that offensive line for years to come.
The Bears.
So after the Bears take an offensive tackle, the Titans are up next. Zach Shaw has a selection for the Tennessee Titans. Zach, who are you going to pick?
With the 20th pick of the 2012 draft, the Titans are going to take Janoris Jenkins out of Northern Alabama. We really think he'll be able to fill in for Finnegan, who we lost in free agency.
After the Titans fill the need with the cornerback position, the Bengals are up next with their second first-round pick. Let's go to Kyle Tolbert with the selection.
At the 21st pick of the 2012 draft, Cincinnati will take Melvin Ingram out of South Carolina. The man is a good pass rush, and he can drop into coverage to protect the flats.
So after the Bengals take Melvin Ingram, the Browns also get their second first-rounder of the day. Jack, you have the selection. Who are the Browns going to take?
Browns at 22 are going to take Luke Kuechly out of Boston College, defensive playmaker for their defense.
Solid selection. I'm surprised he lasted this long.
We were too. We didn't think we'd catch him this late.
So after the Browns' second first-round pick, they addressed two big needs, offense and defense, with that last pick with Luke Kuechly. Up next is the Detroit Lions. We're starting to get into the playoff teams now. Jesse has the pick for the Lions. Jesse, who are you going to take?
The Lions are going to take David DeCastro out of Stanford, #1 guard in the draft. We feel that we already have a solid interior defensive lineman, and we need someone to complement him on the other side of the ball on the offensive line.
So the Lions take an offensive guard to protect Matthew Stafford. Up next are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Zach Shaw has a selection. Zach, who are you going to take?
The 24th pick, the Steelers are going to take offensive lineman Kevin Zeitler from Wisconsin. We think that with that power running game they have at Wisconsin, he'll fit in perfectly with us in Pittsburgh.
After the Steelers take an offensive lineman, the Broncos are next on the clock. With the 25th selection, the Broncos are going to take Kobe Fleener from Stanford. They're going to give Peyton Manning another weapon to throw to. After the Broncos take a tight end with the 25th overall pick, the Houston Texans are on the clock. Jack, who are you going to take for the Houston Texans?
At 26, the Houston Texans are going to take Kendall Wright out of Baylor because he'll be a strong complement on the other side of Andre Johnson.
So after Houston takes a wide receiver to complement Andre Johnson, New England's on the clock. This is the first of their two first-rounders. Kyle Tolbert has the selection for the New England Patriots.
With the 27th pick in the 2012 draft, the New England Patriots take outside linebacker Whitney Merciless from Illinois. I believe he'll give the Patriots a good outside rush to complement Wilfork in the middle.
The New England Patriots use their first of two first-round picks on defense to help out the pass rush. Up next are the Green Bay Packers. Jesse Muldrow has the pick. Let's see who he takes with the 28th overall selection.
With the 28th pick in this year's NFL draft, the Green Bay Packers are going to select Doug Martin out of Boise State. We feel that he's this year's Ray Rice, and the potential to draft a franchise running back is too hard to pass up.
So Green Bay gets another weapon for Aaron Rodgers. Up next is the Baltimore Ravens. Kyle Tolbert has a selection. Kyle, who are the Ravens looking to take?
With the 29th pick in this year's draft, the Baltimore Ravens will take Ruben Randall, wide receiver out of LSU. I believe he'll give a nice outside presence to take the pressure off of Ray Rice running the ball.
So after the Ravens take another offensive weapon for Flacco, the 49ers are up next. Jack, who are the 49ers going to take with that 30th overall pick?
With the 30th overall pick, we're going to take a player that we felt shouldn't even be sticking around still, but Shane McCullen, because it'll help solidify our defense and make a playoff push next year.
So after the Niners take a linebacker, the Patriots get their second of their two first-rounders. Jason has the pick for the New England Patriots. Jason, who are the Patriots taking?
At 31, we feel like it's a safe pick to go with running back Michael James out of Oregon. He's going to help us with the loss of Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, and he's a really good running back out of Oregon.
The Super Bowl champion New York Giants are up next with the 32nd overall pick. Kyle Tolbert has the selection. Kyle, who are the champions taking?
The New York Football Giants, with the 32nd overall pick in this year's draft, will take Cordy Glenn. He's a 6'6" dude, plays guard, but I'm pretty sure they can move him to tackle if they need help out there.
Well, we've been in here a long time in the War Room. The picks have been made for all 32 franchises in the first round. Picks 1 through 32 are done. Some players were a little high. Some players slipped past places they should have gone. It was an interesting mock draft, and I want to thank all the guys that participated and helped me put this together. Well, that's about all the time we have for the show today. I'd like to thank all my guests: Cody Nevels, Jordan Hillersheim, Kyle Tolbert, Jesse Muldrow, Jason Lauber, Zach Shaw, and Jack Bliegler for helping me today on the show. I'd also like to thank Sam Boyd and Maria Fox for helping me with their technical support. To get all my latest thoughts and opinions about what's going on in the sports world, check out my blog, thenockonsports.blogspot.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at knockonsports. I really hope you guys enjoyed the show today. This is the Knock On Sports.